I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they have the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sauce. Like they've been sitting there trying. What's up, everybody? Hope you all had a good Sunday. Hope you all had a better Sunday than me. Got the Steelers, so it was cool to see one go through the net at the end. But overall, not a fun week. 18. Tough games to watch, too. At least in other weeks, if you're having a bad Sunday, like at least you could see some good games. There's some tough football to watch. I guess you had a good one, Toast, because I saw some people that were gassing you up.
Yeah, I went 8-1 today. It was a good day.
Oh, shit. You went 8-1 today?
My only loss, actually, was Creighton money line, which was like a tiny little bet, but which should have won anyway.
What was
Seton Hall?
Were they
Seton Hall, the luckiest team in the country by far. Like, it's not even. I mean, it's not even. Grit. Trevor, if you would have been on the other side, you would have came out here talking about how they got reffed and how it was home court advantage because they were playing football out there. I mean,
that's what Seton Hall does.
Creighton doesn't foul, and I'm not even going to get into it. One of the best teams in the country not fouling, and they give up what?
TV Jones is a Seton Hall stan.
It's an absolute joke.
I was on Creighton today.
Oh, look at TV Jones' new mic there.
Whoa. Yeah, I had it. I finally got my light. Now you can see my face.
I know. Like it's like a new guy. Now, next thing you need is a goddamn haircut, bro.
I just kind of got one on Saturday.
All right. We got college basketball. Then I'll talk some NBA after. First up, I don't have the thing open. Who had Columbia, Cornell?
Me and Spoon.
All right, go. Someone take it away.
Go ahead, Spoon. Take it off.
I bet you we're on opposite sides of this. I really like Columbia here. Kevin Hovde is Matt Golden coach. Coach under him at two different schools as an associate head coach. And here at Columbia, he's looked nothing short of really strong. This is his first season. There's a lot to prove yet, but I think this Cornell team is one of the weaker teams in the Ivy. I think they can be taken down. I think this is a short number. Columbia getting points. I have 2.5 right now, -110.
So, Coach, sound like you agreed with that.
No, I'm on the other side. Cornell money line for me. I played it a little bit earlier, so it's like 140 now. I don't mind that. If you want to lay the points, that's fine. I've had a little bit more success this year being a little bit more conservative, laying some juice, and especially when these spreads are under 3. But I don't hate it if you play the two. I think there's 2 on 365 right now. I would push back a little bit on Cornell being one of the worst teams in the Ivy. I mean, they're all so very close that, I mean, I guess 1 or 2 games could decide that, but I think that Columbia has started out the year really, really hot, and props to them, especially with their new coach, but they've played literally nobody. 344th strength of schedule. They have played a couple road games, but that helps. But I think going on the road to a Cornell team that has played a pretty damn decent schedule, top 150 in the country. Now they played a game on January 2nd versus an absolute nobody, but previous to that, they had played Michigan State, they had played Townsend and George Mason and Samford. Samford doesn't really matter, but regardless, all those games were on the road. They played for like 3 weeks, it seemed like, for on the road, and now they're finally back home in a spot rested. They had multiple days to prepare for this Columbia team. I think there's a reason that they're laying points. They're one of the deepest teams in the country as well, so even if they run into a little bit of foul trouble because they're a little bit shorter, I don't think it really matters. I think I think Cornell gets the job done at home tomorrow early.
Cornell, to be clear, I'm at one of the worst defenses in the Ivy.
I was going to say, Cornell's defense is terrible.
3.
Yeah. They play really fast. So Columbia's going to try to slow it down. Cornell's going to try to speed it up.
TV Jones, this wasn't one of your games, but do you care to break the tie?
Yeah, I like Columbia here. Columbia can shoot. They can make the free throws. They do have a turnover problem, but they can rebound too. At the end of the year last year, Cornell also beat Columbia, and this team retains how much of the minutes here? 29th in the country with minutes retained, 47% from last year. So these guys definitely remember this. You're going on the road. Cornell has their wins are Lafayette, Army, Colgate, Bucknell, Albany, and then 2 D2 teams. So I mean, it's not like they've really stepped up their competition and beat anybody. I mean, lost to Samford, Penn State, Towson, all got them. And then Columbia, you know, they've not played a great schedule either, but they beat Hofstra. They played at California. They played UConn. So, I mean, they've got some decent teams they play, but they've won games. Sitting at 11-3 here. This team ended your season last year. It was the last loss. I've got the stew on it. Cornell coming in off of a big D2 win, 133-65 over Alfred State. I think they're a little complacent here. I think Cornell's defense struggles. I think Columbia connects on their threes, and they kind of just they get this one done on the road here. I'll take Columbia.
I'll take nothing. Alabama State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. I believe Spoon added this one.
Yes, I did. So Arkansas Pine Bluff is off a pretty big win. Their first home win of this season, second D1 win of the year for this team. They shot over 50% from three in that game, and I don't really feel like they deserved to win it overall. Came down to the end, shot really hot. I don't think they'll do that in back-to-back games. Alabama State's a better team than what they just saw. Alabama State also coming off just their third D1 win of the year, but they took down UAB on the road earlier this season and also have a win over IU Indy. I think this is a better team overall. I think this is a short line. Alabama State -2.5. I got -105 on it.
Either you guys have thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I kind of like Pine Bluff. I mean, Alabama State also lost to Air Force. So do with that as you will. They lost 7 games in a row. Finally beat Mississippi Valley State. Congratulations. And then you continue to hit the road. This will be their 8th road game in a row. Pine Bluff sitting at home. They've been at home since December 15th, haven't left. I know they just got a big D1 win, but they're at home. Alabama State finally got the monkey off their back. Now they're traveling again for the 8th road game in a row. I think Pine Bluff is just is going to get them at home here. I think they're feeling good and haven't traveled or left home in close to like a month or 3 weeks. So I'll take Pine Bluff plus the 2.5 here.
It would be Pine Bluff just because they're at home. It's just I think that these teams are very, very similar. I mean, Trevor mentioned that Alabama State had lost a whole bunch of games in a row. That's because they played New Mexico, Tennessee, Martin, Missouri, Cincinnati, Memphis, Mississippi State, all those teams besides UT Martin, who is one of those like special teams, it seems like this year, is top 75 in KenPom. But Arkansas Pine Bluff's the same way. They've played the 3rd best schedule in the country. They haven't played anybody over the last couple weeks. So maybe playing an actual D1 team for another game in a row, maybe that doesn't do for them. I don't know. But I would take the home team getting points if I had to, but I can't do it personally. I think these teams are very, very even.
All right. So Spoon picked the game and neither of you guys agreed with his pick.
I don't agree with either. I'm just saying take the points because I think they're even. I don't disagree with his pick, to be fair.
Freaking Nebraska, dude.
Still didn't cover. That's all I care about. They got their lucky ass win. They didn't cover.
Nebraska money line.
Should have been laying points, like I said.
But they should have. They won.
Well, I won.
No, I know you won your bet on the +2.5. So now they're heading over to Columbus to play Ohio State. So is this where the Nebraska's magical run comes to an end? Anybody? TV Jones is doing it.
Yes, it is. 2 units Ohio State money line. Nebraska just got a big home win against Michigan State. You stormed the court. You look like you just won the national championship.
So embarrassing.
I mean, they beat Michigan State. It is Nebraska at the end of the day. Wow. So I'll cut them a little bit of slack, but you're 14-0. You just stormed the court. You've won. You've been at home. I know you went to Illinois and won. Sweet, but that's the only time you've played a road game. Neutral against Oklahoma, New Mexico, Kansas State. And, Kansas State, not good. New Mexico, completely new team at the time. Oklahoma, they got a 6-point win over. So I'll give them the Oklahoma one and Illinois. But, I mean, you just stormed the court. You just beat Michigan State. You're feeling good. Now you're going to pack up, hit the road. Ohio State had a scare against Rutgers. They're coming back home. Students are back. This place is going to be rocking, getting an undefeated team coming in here. Nebraska might even be ranked. Are they ranked yet? Otherwise, coming tomorrow, they'll have a number.
Probably tomorrow, yeah.
They'll have a shiny new number
13.
next to their name.
They're 13.
The 13th? Okay, well, even better. They're catching points.
Top 10, sorry.
Oh no, I wasn't sure if they were actually ranked yet. I didn't watch the game Friday. I was busy. But I like Ohio State here. They're gonna pop up. They're gonna get them. Nebraska's feeling all high and mighty for beating Michigan State. Then they're gonna go with Ohio State here. So 2 units, money line -150.
Comments seem to agree. Sports scientist Jacob is in the comments saying Ohio State. Napolitano. Nebraska's for real. Ohio State has no fans show up at their games. Nebraska pulls another upset. So there is somebody in the comments believing in the Huskers. But it sounds like you guys are all going Ohio State. Spoon?
I have an Ohio State shirt on. I have tickets to the UCLA game coming up here in a couple of weeks, but I think the market's still too low on Nebraska, as you guys are all reflecting. Nobody's buying into Nebraska right now, even though they have an undefeated record. I have a lot more questions about Ohio State than I do Nebraska. This team lost to Pittsburgh. I think we can all agree that Pittsburgh is not a good team this year. They have a home loss to Illinois already this season. The gym looked pretty packed for that, so I'll give them that. It does seem like they have a good atmosphere, but we watched that Rutgers game. Yeah, they came away with a 7-point lead, but Rutgers easily could have won that game, and I don't think Nebraska is going to give them that chance. Yes, there's a home atmosphere involved, but Ohio State, I'm just not really in love with Jake Buehler's setup right now. I don't think the roster is that deep. You have 2 or 3 good players at the top of it. You do have maybe an NBA player on the team, but I just don't think it's enough right now versus Nebraska. I think they're a better team through and through. I think they should be laying a point here. This should be at least a pick 'em. To be getting 2.5 is mispriced. Just even looking back to that Michigan game, I thought that was a little more accurate. That infers that Ohio State's a better team than what Michigan is here, in my opinion, and I don't think that's true either. So Nebraska plus 2.5.
So basically what you're saying, Spoon, to summarize what you're saying, is that TV Jones pissed 2 units down the drain. Yeah. He dead ass serious goes, yeah. Toast is on Ohio State. I could tell the way he was grinning when TV Jones was talking.
I haven't bet it yet. It would only be Ohio State for me. So I think, okay, let's just start with Nebraska. Still not really impressed with what they've done. They shoot a whole bunch of 3-pointers and they rely on that. I talked about the Illinois game when they went on the road previous to taking Michigan State plus the 2.5. I do think that they had an absolute crazy performance from what's his pace, Sanford, and that was the key to winning that game. And then the win at home at Michigan State was impressive. I'll give them that. I'm not trying to take that away from them, but I will say that them getting points here is a little bit weird to me, but I think that there's a reason for that. And the reason is Ohio State, I don't have as many questions about them. I do think they're a pretty damn good basketball team. They had a bad walk-off win against Pitt where Pitt hit a walk-off 3 against them and at the buzzer. It is what it is. It happens, especially in college basketball, especially on the road.
Back-to-back years against them.
Yeah, and then they lose to Illinois, which, I mean, honestly, if Sanford doesn't go absolutely berserk, Nebraska probably loses to Illinois as well. So we'll just cross those 2 out. And then they lost by 1 to North Carolina. So they have a walk-off loss, a loss to Illinois, and then a 1-point loss to Arizona or North Carolina on a neutral. I think that Ohio State's played very, very well. The key to this game for me is what are we going to get out of Ohio State defensively? And are they going to be able to continue to limit teams hitting the 3 balls like they have done all year? Because what we know about Nebraska is what? They rely on the 3 ball. Top 30 in the country as far as three-pointers, percentage of 3-pointers. What do we know about Nebraska defensively? Number 2 defensively with the amount of 3-pointers they're allowed. So I think it's going to come down to, does Nebraska hit their 3-pointers on the road? They've only went on the road once this year, like we've talked about ad nauseum. It was that Illinois game. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate that. Again, do I want to lay 2.5 points against Nebraska right now? I don't really know. I would pay 140 for the money line with Ohio State or pass. Probably going to do it. Well, but I just want to watch.
Here's the thing. Where would you have Ohio State in relation to Michigan State? Because we just saw Nebraska at home close at what? A 1-point favorite over Michigan State, 1.5-point favorite. So the market has Nebraska maybe a 0.5 point below Michigan State. Michigan State and Ohio State are valued equally? That sounds off to me. Right?
I don't know, man.
Go for it.
No, go ahead, Trevor. I mean, I'm just kind of riffing off the top.
What I just said makes sense, right? Like, according to
100%.
The lines we just saw in the last two games, the market's telling us that Michigan State and Ohio State are priced equally.
I think they're very close. I think Michigan State's a better team. I don't know how many, if you're actually like a full possession better, if that helps.
I don't know.
So go ahead, Trevor.
I think Ohio State's fake.
College basketball is all about spot betting. You got a team that just beat Michigan State on a Friday at home, storm the court, then they're going to hit the road and travel to Ohio State. This is a scheduled loss. They'll lose this and they'll go and beat Indiana.
Couldn't you have said that for like their loss at Illinois though? This team keeps pulling off wins. It's like shouldn't we have seen like 3 letdown spots already from Nebraska?
I mean,
what if they just don't?
Nebraska came home and played North Dakota. So
I think the Illinois game is an outlier. I think that you give them Wisconsin. I think you give them credit for beating Wisconsin and Creighton. Those are top 50 teams, but
no credit for that.
I mean, yeah, the way that Wisconsin looks right now, true. I don't know, man. I mean, it's bad. So I don't know. Nebraska's kind of an enigma to me. I don't think they're very good, though, personally. I think they rely on the 3-ball, and as soon as they start to play teams that can cover them, they'll be in trouble. But we'll see.
Nebraska also had 8 days off after the Illinois game, so they had time to digest it and get ready. And they played North Dakota.
Well, Mr. Wesker says in the comments that North Dakota plays with a big heart.
Oh, true.
So,
that's true.
Just this very prideful state, very prideful program there. Oregon Rutgers.
Let's go, baby.
And I lost that under by a hook on Friday.
I know. I played it because of you. I played Rutgers and I played the under because of you.
I lost the under by a hook. I didn't play Rutgers. I should have. That was free.
So Dana Altman pulling off another road win. He just went in and beat the Terps. Seems like
he did.
He was only laying 2.5 against Maryland. Now he's laying 6 to Rutgers. Is Maryland that much better than Rutgers?
Maryland's also a first-year head coach in a completely new team. So,
but that's what I'm saying. It was only 2.5 at Maryland. Now it's 6 at Rutgers. So they're like, Maryland is that much better than Rutgers?
On the computers and like ranked in KenPom and stuff, yes. I don't think they are really.
So
I think they're
Scarlet Knights here then.
Yes, plus 6.5. I've already bet it here. Not a fade of Oregon at all, but I don't think that we're going to see Shellstad, which kind of sucks for Oregon with their point guard on the second game of this back-to-back games over on the East Coast. I hate this spot for them. I also like what I saw from Rutgers when they played against Ohio State. Obviously, they lost that game by 7. We just talked about that. The defense wasn't great, but the offense was coming around. I trust Steve Peichel to figure out things defensively. It's offensively that you obviously worry about Rutgers, and that was a very positive thing. They also scored 70 against Penn, and they got to win a 15-point win against Delaware State. But again, not that the Penn and Delaware State games really do much for me, but the offense is starting to look better, and I think that matters in a game when you're not going to have Shellstad, and this Rutgers team this Oregon team is not going to speed this game up. This game is going to be really slow. I think we're going to see probably maybe 60, 65 possessions because neither one of these teams really want to push the pace, and I don't think that Oregon offensively is that much head and shoulders better than Rutgers, especially without Shellstad out there. So I think that, yes, the Rutgers offense is absolutely terrible, but at the same time, they are at home. Oregon's on the second game of a back-to-back trip to the East Coast with only 2 days to prepare. I think this is the game where we see not a lot of points scored, kind of a scrappy game, and Rutgers covers. So I bet the 6.5. I'm not in love with it, but I just thought that 6.5 was too many. I had this at like 4.5 personally.
Yo, that's the real Jimmy the Bag in the comments, right? What's up, man? I was actually going to text you guys. I'll text you tomorrow. We got to figure out if we want to do some content for the playoffs or maybe some basketball stuff. I'll text you tomorrow, Jim. Thanks for appreciate the comment. All right. So now that I have some exchange accounts, I can bet Rutgers games. Oh, I'm sorry. I can trade Rutgers games. I can trade Rutgers games.
That line in Poly Market, now they're going to boot you.
Yeah, I just got the invite code. I'm not trying to show them the door. So Oregon Rutgers here. I do like what you're saying, and I pulled it up on CBB Analytics. Should see a slow pace. I'm on board with that. I wasn't impressed with Oregon. I watched a lot of the Maryland game. I didn't think I was more unimpressed with Maryland than I was.
I was just about. That's a good point because I was going to say in that Maryland game, it was more about Maryland pissing down their leg the last 10 minutes than I think of Oregon pulling the way. But maybe that was just a pissed off Maryland better.
So any of you guys want to co-sign a Scarlet Knights bet here?
Most definitely. I'll do you one better. Rutgers money line too.
Oh,
they're going to get this one done. Again, the Maryland game, first year head coach Williams, late start, new team. They're going to be a bit of a struggle bus. Rutgers played Ohio State really tough. The offense looked all right. I don't think it's going to be as offensively driven in this game, but Oregon, second game on this East Coast trip, cross country. They get to go home after this. And you said it. They didn't look amazing versus Maryland. I know they had like a 20-point lead, but Maryland kind of came back a little bit, made it semi-interesting, not really. But Rutgers here, they played a great game against Ohio State. Now you get Oregon coming in here. The RAC students are back. I think they catch Oregon this time. I don't think Rutgers is going to be any good in conference play, but given this spot, Oregon off of the Maryland going down to Jersey and then going to fly back, I think Rutgers hangs in. I think Rutgers wins this game too. So I'll be on Rutgers points and money line tomorrow.
Plus 228 on Kalshi.
Beautiful.
damn. Did you? Okay, Trevor. I'm gonna play.
I'm doing the money line.
You're gonna what?
I'm doing the money line with TV Jones.
Pause.
Well, actually, Spoon, do you co-sign it first?
I don't. So I thought the Oregon line kind of inferred that Jackson Shellstead was playing. They inferred he was day-to-day in the last game, and checking all the most recent updates, his status is still uncertain heading into the game. I don't know if he plays or not. I think Oregon's a better team than Rutgers. Talk about pissing down your leg in the last 10 minutes. Rutgers had a chance to win their game as well. I don't trust them to win this game on the money line versus Oregon. Do I trust them to cover the 6? I really don't. I wish I knew more about where Oregon was at here, but the second game of a road trip, I think this kind of favors the West Coast team. They're a little more accustomed to being out here. You're talking about not being impressed with Oregon. That's one of the hardest things to do for college kids, to make that trip from the West Coast to the East Coast. Now they've had a few days to just get accustomed to things. I think this is an Oregon spot.
I'm taking Rutgers money line. I'm in. Let's go, TV.
Rutgers with Steve Pikiell's always just like hung his hat on being a really good defensive coach. Last year, everything kind of got disrupted with having just the amount of talent they did, but the defense hasn't returned. And that was a thing that, there was there for 10 years, even before he was at Rutgers, just having a top 100 defense in the country. I don't see that defense there with Rutgers, and the stats reflect it, like CBB analytics. Oregon's a much better defensive team this year.
Yeah, but Oregon hasn't stepped up in competition this year. I know they beat Maryland again. We went over that, but second of a back-to-back road game all the way on the East Coast. I just think it's just a rough spot. You got your win. Now you're going to go into Rutgers, and I think they just play flat. 142 total. I think this kind of implies a low-scoring game. Rutgers. I don't think the offense will look like it did against Ohio State, but I think their defense shows up, and the RAC wills them to a nice win here.
This is not a Stones play.
Money line, I'll say Stones.
This is a Stones play. You're 1-0.
No, my Stones.
You reference stats. Stones don't look at stats.
Yeah, you're right. A Stones play has no stats.
St. Peter's free 99 though.
Yeah,
there you go.
Penn, Princeton. Who wants to talk Ivy League?
I'll take this one. Princeton. I'm going to lay it with Princeton here. They finally got the monkey off their back. They finally got that win.
Against who?
Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Overtime. Shout out the standalone game on Tuesday. Now you've had some time off. You're getting ready. Penn just played on Wednesday. They played NGIT. Super sick. But Princeton had lost, 7 games in a row by 5 or less. They finally won. You beat Vermont. Now you're in conference play here. Brand coming in. Defense not their forte. They like to jack up threes. I don't know if they'll fall. I think Princeton finally got that monkey off the back, and they can finally start to win and play really well. Again, they weren't getting blown out. They just couldn't get over the hump. They finally did. against a good Vermont team, and now you got Penn coming in here. I think they parlay those together, and they get a nice win here against Penn. So I'll be laying the 2.5 for Princeton.
Either you guys agree, disagree with TV Jones?
I disagree. I'm not going to bet it, but I just think that Penn is a much better basketball team. I get that Princeton got the monkey off their back and stuff like that, but I think that these teams are pretty equal. I will give you that this is a pretty decent step up in competition for Penn because they've played absolutely nobody this year, but I don't know. I just don't think that Princeton should be laying 2.5 points, but who am I?
First Ivy League road game for Fran.
No, I'm not betting it. I'm just saying. Princeton should be laying points.
Spoon, you want to break the tie or should we move on?
I think Princeton wins the game, but I don't think you should be laying 2.5 points with them. This team hasn't shown the ability to win by more than a possession since November 11th versus Bucknell. That's the only time all year they covered a game by more than 3 points. It's just a tough team to really trust. The Vermont game coming down at the end of overtime or before overtime regulation, they couldn't put that game away. Sure, they pulled away in overtime. That was the second time they saw that team in 2 weeks, or second time they saw this team this season. They saw them on a neutral earlier this year. So that complicates things a little bit, but Princeton definitely looked a lot better. They shot the ball a lot better. It's hard to transfer shooting the ball well one game to the next, but they're playing another game at home. So I agree that Princeton should win this game, but I just don't want to get involved with laying points. That's why I didn't bet it.
So Jacob, sports scientist Jacob, in the comments saying Princeton, they have not lost to Penn since 2018, and he's from the area. He wasn't smart enough to get into Penn, but he's from the area.
He had to go to Villanova.
No, he went to UDO.
Oof.
Man.
He was a Nova guy. I don't know why.
I think he's a fan of no. He's a hen.
I think his brother.
His twin brother went to Nova.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There's two of them. I forgot.
The evil scientist.
Yo. I already know who this is. Milwaukee against Green Bay. We know who wants to talk about this one.
I'm excited.
I might go to this game.
I was going to say, this is a great game. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say in this one.
You're going to this?
There's a chance. 6 o'clock game. I mean, there's not really a whole lot on tomorrow. Get back. Yeah, there's potential. It's at the Crash. It's not the Resh.
I'm surprised you're not banned from the arena, to be honest.
Or did Megan not?
I've never been to the Crest Center. It's at the Resh. I usually go because it's like 15 minutes closer. But
so you're banned from the Resh?
No, I'm perfectly fine at the Resh.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually 1-0 at the Resh for Green Bay games. Shout out them last year versus Detroit Mercy. Points.
Take Megan out to Phoenix Park, have a little date there, then go over to
Phoenix
the
Park.
Center. You know where it's at.
No,
I've never heard of Phoenix Park.
If he brings Megan, he won't make it into the arena. Remember what happened?
Yeah, we'll make it.
Security's not as tight.
Yeah, it's pretty lax. It's that meme of the security guard just doing nothing, letting you in. But Green Bay, great win Saturday. Big win. Fort Wayne won by 18 on the road. Now you're traveling back home. You're catching points to a Milwaukee team that's lost 2 straight in their 3rd straight road game. I think Green Bay's sitting fat and happy, feeling themselves a little bit after beating Fort Wayne by 18, but Fort Wayne hasn't really been great in conference play the last couple of years. Milwaukee, desperate for a win here, traveling up. These two teams, I believe, played in the – nope, that was Oakland. I stand corrected. But Green Bay, I just don't think they get this one done. I mean, you win by 18, you're feeling yourselves, and now you got a desperate Milwaukee team coming in here that's far better than you and a better coach. I think they're catching points for a reason. I think it's a little bait. I'm laying it with Milwaukee tomorrow. I think they get this one done. I'll probably play money line. It's -135. So Green Bay Milwaukee money line.
Toast, do you agree? And to quote TV Jones, do you agree that Green Bay is sitting, and I quote, fat and happy?
I do, actually. They are sitting pretty fat and happy. I mean, they've won 3 of their last 4, and their only game that they didn't win was the game. Wasn't that the game right before he retired from radio, and then they got blasted by 30? Isn't that how that happened?
Yeah, he announced retirement, and then Campbell killed him.
Yeah, and then
Then he
got
retired.
and then he got what? Then they had their Christmas break, went on the road, and played a good game against Purdue Fort Wayne. So I guess I just wanted to preface this by saying this isn't a fade of Green Bay. I think they've actually, since after the middle of November, they've actually been playing pretty well. It's more of a play on Milwaukee, who is going to be facing a pretty significant step down in competition. Trevor mentioned that this is their third straight road game, but they've been pretty spread out. And on top of that, one of them was at Wisconsin, one of them was Wright State. Both of those teams are head and shoulders better than Green Bay here. I just think that I will say I think these teams are a little bit more even than people probably give them credit for, but I do think that Milwaukee is a better team. On top of that, the thing that kind of pushes me over the edge, Milwaukee has a pretty deep bench. They use 7-8 guys religiously. Green Bay does not have that. So if Green Bay gets in a little bit of foul trouble here, I think that could be a really big issue here. So I bet Milwaukee as well.
Spoon, are you sweeping? Do you agree that Green Bay's fat and happy?
I don't think they're fat and happy, but I think it's a sell high spot on them after that really big win. Also, this is a buy low spot on Milwaukee coming off 2 losses, games they could have won. I think they should probably be laying 4 points here. Green Bay, everybody was really low on for quite a while, but I mean, after seeing some of the success they've had, just this being a 2-point line, it's too short. I could join TV Jones here. I might do that. I'm kind of price checking it right now.
On.
It's opened 1.5. It's up to 2.5. I don't know if Green Bay can.
There's a man in the comments named Pump Breaks, and he says Milwaukee's just 1-7 on the road this year.
Well, yeah, but when you look at who
played
they're
a top
playing,
100 schedule. That's why.
Where you at? You mean you went
Indiana, Texas Tech, Wichita State, Akron,
Wichita State.
Wichita State's good.
Top 90 team in Ken Palm.
So you're going to lay points
State.
with the team that's won one road game this entire year?
The line's telling you, everyone's going to bet Green Bay.
It's
At
Green
home,
Bay, though.
We can start play well.
Yeah, but the difference, you're talking about playing a C squad team in Michigan. That's the difference here. I mean, in the competition levels,
Green Bay's the move.
All right, best of luck.
I got a feeling in my stones.
0-1.
Yeah. Oh, we're back in the Ivy League. Yale Brown. Who wants to grace us with a Yale Brown situation?
Got to be Spoon, right?
I don't know.
I think it was me.
I did
actually.
not check this. If I did, I'd tell you that Yale's going to absolutely destroy Brown. You'd have to have some big stone play facts ready to back up Brown.
Is this a stone play? Is this a stone play?
Potentially. Brown, you got Yale just off of the Alabama loss on Monday, so a week off here, and now you're going to Brown here. Brown, 79% minute continuity, 39% from last year. They lost the last game of the season to Yale. Yale, I get, can absolutely light it up from 3 and just kill you, but this Brown team can actually defend it too. I think we got a lower total here just because Brown's going to hang around and Yale's going to struggle to shoot. I know they just played Alabama. They had a week off, so good for them. But now you're going to travel again. This Brown team has not looked good. They've been pretty bad this year, but you got a fair amount of minute continuity from last year. This team lost to Yale to end their season, and now you got Yale, who everyone's expecting a bounce back from. But Moneyline max at best in TCE. You just don't lay double-digit points with in the Ivy, let alone on the road. I think this is a game Brown kind of hangs and loses by 6 or 7 points. Haven't bet it, but I'm seeing what this number will get. But I like Brown tomorrow.
In Wisconsin, is 8.5 double digits?
It's up to 9.5.
Oh, okay.
It's Wisconsin. There's no E.
Someone said, "Give me the nerd."
Yale won by 21 last year at Brown.
Yeah, that was a completely different team.
Yale's better.
No, it wasn't.
Brown's worse.
This Brown team.
You just talked about the minutes continuity.
Yeah, Yale's 5th in the country in minutes continuity. That's even better than Brown.
Yeah, but this Brown team still has guys. It still has guys from last year. I mean, Brown's been all right. I mean, started the year 0-4, but I mean, since then, what's this? 6 and 3. Played Stony Brook tough on the road. Played Rhode Island tough on the road. Played Providence to a 7-point game on the road. So they're not like they're getting blasted. I think they hang around in this game. You and everybody else can lay double digits with Yale. I'll have my congrats world tweet ready if it hits, but I think Brown hangs around. Backdoor 3, they lose by 7.
I will say that I'm surprised that this number isn't 10 already, or to start with, or at least 9.5 to start with. So maybe there's something there that the bookmakers don't want to lay double digits with Yale either. But on paper, I mean, yeah, Brown has won a couple games lately, but I mean, again, 350th strength of schedule. They've played absolutely nobody. This is a huge step up in class for this Yale team. Yale brings back absolutely everybody. They don't play many guys, but I don't think it really matters here. I'm not betting Yale, but I mean, it would only be them by a large amount.
Well said.
You got it?
Sorry. No, I don't. I got a kid right here about to yell at somebody.
And Brown lost their best player in Lilly and did not replace him in that minutes continuity.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. It's a team effort, not a one-man show. They'll be good. Hey, what did the poll say?
63% Yale, 31%. So yeah, mostly gotcha. Yale. Very heavy Yale crowd. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Houston Christian in the ultimate who cares game. These guys care though.
No, I don't. Please, Trevor, do it.
Trevor, why did you subject us to this game?
We've got a Houston Christian team coming in here. Minute continuity, 35%, top 100 in the country. Lost to Corpus Christi in the Southland Conference tournament last year. So you got a revenge spot. I love my revenge spots like that. You got Houston Christian losers of 5 straight. McNeese, Iowa State, Incarnate, Word, Nichols, and Sela. 3 straight road games back home now against this team. Corpus Christi's won 2 in a row. They're feeling good in the Southland. They're walking into Houston Christian tomorrow to lose. I'm debating not even just playing the points. Keep the points. I like Houston Christian to win this game. I'll play the 2.5 and I'll play the money line. They're going to get this done. This is a revenge spot. Houston Christian loses a 5 straight back home. Texas A&M Christi won 2 straight in conference play here. Now they're hitting the road again, back-to-back road game. Houston Christian's going to get this done. Everybody's going to back Corpus Christi, but Houston Christian this is a game you pop up for that weird gym that's incredibly tiny. Going to throw them off a little bit, and Houston Christian's going to bounce back and get a big W, avenge how their season ended last year.
So is Houston Christian also Houston Baptist?
No.
It's 2 different schools?
This is like D2 or something, aren't they?
Okay.
You're thinking of Cal Baptist.
I'm just wondering why my graphic says HBU. Is it supposed to say HCU?
Yeah.
I think it says CU.
No, on the screen, but on Trevor's pick it says HBU, and I don't
type. It may have been Houston Baptist years ago.
I don't because I don't type those. They're automatically generated. So I'm just wondering.
They were Houston Baptist in 2022.
Oh, yep. That's 3 years ago.
I'm just telling you that they were once Houston Baptist.
Well, the way you said it, you made it sound like it was the 70s or some shit. It was 2 years ago.
I thought they've been Houston Christian forever. I don't even remember them ever being Houston Baptist.
So do you?
That's kind of weird. You go from a Baptist to a Christian school, just change it over.
I don't know.
Trevor, a Baptist is a Christian.
Well, it's like different sectors or something. Otherwise, they'd all be the same thing.
It's all. It all falls under Christianity. Baptist is a.
I'm sure it revolves around God.
Baptist is like the city, and then the county is Christianity.
No, Christianity is the state or the country, and Baptist is like the state.
They all, and each state's got their own different rules and shit. Like it's, I think there's something different, like fundamentally. That's not a big one, but I think
it's not. All right, yeah,
I think it is.
All right.
Here, I'll Google it.
You don't have to Google it. I know what it is. As someone who is a Baptist is a Christian, TV Jones, I'm positive.
Is a follower of Jesus Christ, while Baptist is a specific type of Christian who belongs to the Baptist.
Let me stop you right there. A specific type of Christian. Exactly. A Baptist is a Christian. Anyway, any of you guys want to comment on this game?
No, I don't know what any of that just meant. I agree with TWD and Firefighter Dave in the comments. Just call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm done.
Spoon, any comments, or should I move on to him? Oh, no, we got one more game. USC, Michigan State.
Oh, yeah.
Houston Christian here. Definitely is the side that I like. Had Elijah Brooks circled. He's one of their better players. He's missed the last couple of games for them. Didn't have time to look into any injury stuff for him, so I kind of passed on that game.
Okay. Let's move on to the last game, which is a Big Ten game. Kind of gives you the idea of how many points the market has Michigan up on everybody, because Michigan was just laying 22.5 to USC. Granted, that was in Ann Arbor. Now actually no, this one's in East Lansing also.
Yeah,
so
same difference.
So the market currently has Michigan 11.5 points above Michigan State right now. And I'm not even saying that's wrong. I'm just saying it's crazy.
No, I was just saying the funny thing is that I think that Michigan at this point and the way that they're playing, they're 10 points better than everybody in the country not named Arizona. Honestly, I don't. Yeah. So
10 points better than everyone in the country not named Arizona.
Yeah, I can probably. I mean, they've already beat Gonzaga by 40. Duke has not really looked good lately. I think that Michigan could give Duke a lot of problems. So I think they would destroy Iowa State. I think Arizona's the only team, maybe Purdue, but I don't know.
So I did watch some of the Michigan USC game, and they had one guy who made a few circus plays. He made like a and 1-3 that kind of kept USC around a little bit early when they really shouldn't have been. What do you guys think about this game?
I already bet the under 152. It's dropped down a little bit, so 150 would be like the max, but even then I don't really love it at 150. I like over 150, but regardless, under 152 is what I bet here. First and foremost, I just think that we're going to see this USC offense, which I was kind of like, maybe because they play fast, they can score points and yada, 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 that they're going to put some points up. I think that probably after seeing some upper level competition that we can't expect this team to score 75, 80, 85 points a night. I'm not trying to make a case that I think that the Michigan State defense is head and shoulders better than the Michigan defense is head and shoulders better than the Michigan State defense. I think they're very close to the same. I think that, and Michigan is number 1 in the country, obviously defensively, but Michigan State's number 5. And if there's one thing that's the difference between those two teams is that Michigan State really likes to play a lot slower than Michigan does. And I think that you're going to see a pissed off Sparty team that just kind of gave a game away in Nebraska. They easily could have won. I think that we don't see a whole bunch of possessions in this game. I know that Michigan State shoots the 3 ball really well, but offensively, they're not really a juggernaut. So I don't expect them to see a whole bunch of points. I really expect, I really expect this game to be like the USC Boise State game, even though that game was in Hawaii. That was a 70-67 game. I think that's the type of game we see, even with that Hawaii game being in the Hawaii Rims, and that's the number that we got here. So I not that I think that Michigan State and Boise are very much the same, but I think their styles are very, very similar. So yeah, I think under for me.
Do you guys agree, disagree?
I agree on the under, but I like Michigan State. I think they absolutely just fuck them up. You got Michigan, USC just played Michigan, got the hell beat out of them. Shot 33 free throws, still lost by 30 points. And now you got a Michigan State team that also really good at not fouling. USC found their way to the line there. Congrats. Made 21 of them. Didn't shoot well. Now you got Sparty coming back off of a buzzer beater and getting stormed on. I think they're pissed off. I think USC's beat up and just ready to get the hell out of the state of Michigan. Because Izzo's not gonna let up. He's gonna play physical and strong defense as well. I think Sparty just comes in and kills them. I think this is a big spread for a reason. I think Sparty wins this game by like 20 plus. To be honest, so I'm laying with Sparty tomorrow.
Spoon, Sparty comfortably.
Yeah, I agree with the Sparty comfortably. I had one last game, Incarnate Word.
I forgot to add that one.
1.5 dog on the road. I got it at minus 115. It's starting to move, so it'll probably be close to a pick'em here soon. Incarnate Word has 2 of the best guards in the conference in Taj Tavesky and Davion Bailey. I think this is just a line that's mispriced by more than a few points. I think they should be the favorite, and I think maybe by tomorrow they will be. The better team here. Shane Hireman's got a pretty good squad. This will be their first road game here in conference. I think this is a good spot for them.
All right, gentlemen.
I actually disagree. I like Rio Grande. Yeah, sorry. I mean, they've this is their fourth straight home game. They lost the previous three. They lost by 2-4, and then New Orleans beat them by 16. But Incarnate word, Ben at home won 3 straight. Now you're going to hit the road in conference play. I think this is a short number for a reason. I think Rio Grande gets a big win before they hit the road. They don't want to be 0-4 at home and then going to play East Texas A&M on the road. So I think they get a big win tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to talk NBA. You gentlemen enjoy your evening.
Toodles.
Toodles. He said toodles. All right. Cybert says he's got a ticket for the Knicks to win the East. Love to see it. Although the Knicks are not playing very well right now. But I mean, NBA, because it happens right after, I feel like I say this every year, because NBA season, we get right into it from football. It's almost like an adjustment period. You got to remember that the NBA, it's a lot closer to baseball than it is to football, man. It's a sprint. There's a 4-game road trip. You look at the road trip saying, all right, how are we going to take 2 of these games? It's not like football. You're not trying to win every single game. You're trying to manage your roster to in the most efficient way possible to maximize the amount of wins you can get long term. Very similar to baseball, how you manage your bullpen, you manage your starting pitching usage. So that's basketball's a lot closer to baseball than it is. Anyway. First game up is Knicks. Speak of the devil. We're talking New York Knicks. All right, so maybe we should just be blindly fading the Knicks. Since the NBA Cup, they are 1-9 against the spread. Fading the Knicks blindly since the NBA Cup has been an extremely lucrative investment. I've done it a few times myself. I've picked it against the Knicks every single game since the NBA Cup. Their only cover, by the way, so they're 1-9 against the spread since the NBA Cup. Their only cover, we still won on that one. Remember, we jumped on the Spurs early. It closed at 3.5, and then the Knicks backdoored that 3.5. We got on Spurs at a pick. So if it wasn't for the closing line in the Spurs game, they'd actually be 0-10 against the spread in their last 10. The Knicks are not playing very well right now. They're having all types of problems on the defensive end. Josh Hart still out. Sure, that has a lot to do with it. Now, Towns and Mitchell Robinson are back. They were both banged up. They both played in that Sixers game and lost. In fact, I think the Knicks have now lost 3 in a row. Yeah, they've lost 3 basketball games in a row. Really could use Josh Hart back to give him some kind of change of tempo, change of energy here. Because their defense, like I said, it's just fallen off a cliff. In the last 10 games, the Knicks are 26th in defensive efficiency. Matched up against Detroit, who in the last 10 games, top 10 offensively and defensively. So it's tough to consider betting New York because blindly fading New York has been extremely profitable recently. But the Pistons have injury concerns of their own. First of all, they're on a back-to-back. They just played in Cleveland. That was this afternoon. It was a 2:10 p.m. Eastern time start. So at least they did have the evening to travel. But yeah, it was a back-to-back. So Detroit just played in Cleveland. There are also no Duren, no Tobias Harris here for Detroit. So at first glance, I was like, oh, okay, no Duren out there, no Tobias Harris. Mitchell Robinson should be active on the offensive glass. Knicks should be able to control things down low. But honestly, Isaiah Stewart he's such an invaluable piece of that Pistons roster. He's the longest tenured Piston that's there, Isaiah Stewart. He was just named the Eastern Conference Defensive Player of the Month, Isaiah Stewart. So it's not like without Duren, the Pistons are just screwed. This guy can play. He can play defense. They actually just went into Cleveland without Duren and out-rebounded the Cavs in Cleveland. Now, the Cavs didn't have Jared Allen in the game, but we can't just count this Pistons team out because Duren isn't playing in this game. Isaiah Stewart gives them a lot. Now, without Duren, you would think Detroit would be a little bit vulnerable on the defensive glass, and that's where they've struggled. But so, and Mitchell Robinson, obviously a great offensive rebounder, but Josh Hart is also one of the Knicks' best offensive rebounders. So, yeah, I don't think you can lay points on the road with the Knicks right now. It's been bet up. I'm seeing 3s, so looks like the early action is coming in on the New York side. It would only be Pistons for me. I'm going to continue picking against the Knicks every single game until they do something. I mean, theoretically, they haven't covered a number since the NBA Cup. So, yeah, it would only be Detroit here. I know they're on a back-to-back. They're flying home from Cleveland. It's not ideal, but this Knicks team is overpriced every single game. They won the NBA Cup. They probably are one of, if not the best team in the Eastern Conference, but they're not playing like it right now. So it would only be Detroit for me here. All right, what's next? Chicago, Boston. Boston. Bulls, Celtics. Sports scientist Jacob says short travel. They've been home forever. Yeah, it's not a... You were saying you like the Knicks, though, Jacob. I could have sworn I remember you in the Discord saying you like the Knicks. Unless I'm mixing you up with somebody else. I could have sworn I saw you saying you like the Knicks. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I just looked over my notes. I put up Detroit for that one. I actually wrote over or pass as well. So it would be Pistons or over. Both these teams, Knicks have been running a pretty fast pace. Both these, Detroit pace is also top 10. Should see a fast-paced game. So I said over or pass, or it would be Pistons or over. That's not a game I bet, though. Anyway, Bulls, Celtics. So shout out to the Bulls, man. They kind of held their own here. There's not a lot of NBA teams where you could lose your top 2 leading scorers and still continue to play at a similar level. Now, it's only been 3 games, but in the 3 games we've seen since the Bulls have lost Josh Giddey and Kobe White, they've been pretty solid. They're 2-1 in these games, and the only game where they played poorly was on a back-to-back. So shout out to the Bulls. They're a pretty deep team, and they're dealing with injuries, obviously, right now. They lose their 2 leading scorers, and they didn't fall off a cliff. Like I said, 2-1 in these 3 games. Now, Kobe White might return for this one. So they might be getting one of their leading scorers back. Here's the problem. Jalen Smith is now out. So this Bulls team is really going to have to lean on their depth even more. Because now Zach Collins is still out. He's been out. Jalen Smith is now out, which means Vucevic is going to have to log some serious minutes. He already is logging serious minutes. Patrick Williams is probably going to start at the 4 for the Bulls. But based on what we've seen from this Bulls team, it seems like they're kind of, you don't want to say injury proof because no one is, but they're like 10 or 11 deep. And it seems like you can just plug and play on this Bulls team. So I don't know if Jalen Smith being out is a huge deal. I'm not sure. Now, it's tough. They're going on the road to Boston, and the Celtics have been great. In the last 20 games, they're 15-5 straight up, 15-5 against the spread, 7-3 in their last 10. In the last 10 games, they're actually first in offensive efficiency. They've been the most efficient offense in the NBA in their last 10 games, 11th defensively. So they're playing pretty well on both sides of the ball. Here's where it gets a little tough for Boston. Look at the strength of schedule. Who have they played? Played the easiest schedule in the NBA in their last 10 games. So it's kind of tough to get a feel for how good this Celtics team is right now because they're kind of playing repeated. They pretty much have repeat games against bad teams over and over again. Now, their second unit is playing really well. Hugo Gonzalez, Sam Hauser, Luka Garza. All 3 of those guys all had double figures the other night out in Sacramento. But it's tough to put our finger on how good the Celtics are right now because they've kind of been playing nobody. And that's another thing about the Celtics. They're returning from a road trip, a long road trip where they were out on the West Coast, Portland, Utah, Sacramento, LA, then obviously back to Boston across the country. So you don't like that, returning from a long road trip. They haven't played a home game in quite a while. So I don't like that for Boston. But as a whole, I think it's a pretty good matchup for them. Boston is a defense that's really great at keeping their opponents outside of the paint. They don't let you get in they don't let you get to the interior. This is a Bulls offense. It pretty much all starts with driving to the basket. So the way Boston plays defense is built to give Chicago some problems. I like the matchup for Boston. I don't like how they're coming home from a road trip, and I don't like how this Bulls team seems so injury-proof, but I think Boston wins comfortably. I'm not laying 10.5, but it would only be the Celtics for me here. Atlanta, Toronto. Okay. I bet this one. Hawks up. I'm on the Hawks on this one. I got plus 4.5 and money line. It looks like it's at 3.5 now. I would still take it at 3.5. I think this game should be about a pick. Maybe Toronto -1, maybe. So obviously these two teams just played the other night in this same building in Toronto, and the Hawks got wiped. So the Raptors just beat the hell out of the Hawks the other night. Got to keep in mind, it was an extremely advantageous position for Toronto. The Hawks were just coming off the day before a win in Madison Square Garden, which you know is a win that the Hawks wanted that game in Madison Square Garden in front of the Knicks fans. So you had the Hawks immediately coming off a game against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Then they immediately fly up to Canada to play the Raptors, who had 3 days off before the game. So the Raptors were sitting there preparing for 3 days to play the Hawks. The Hawks had just finished a game against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden like 18 hours ago. So it was a terrible spot for the Hawks. Also, more importantly, what else is true about this game? Kristaps Porzingis didn't play. Now, he's not logging major minutes or anything yet, but look at the 2 games before that. The 2 games where Porzingis came back. These are the 2 games before they flew up to Toronto on the back-to-back. Look at the defensive rating, 98-7. The Hawks are playing some defense now, and if you really think about it, by the way, Trae Young's out. I know a lot of you probably were waiting for that. Trae Young is out, and we know the Hawks have a significantly better record when Trae Young doesn't play. My bet on the Hawks is not based on that, but it is worth mentioning that the Hawks have played a lot better without Trae Young. If you really think about what this lineup looks like without Trae Young on the floor, you got Dyson Daniels and Alexander Walker at guards. That's a solid backcourt there defensively. You got Kristaps Porzingis. He can protect the rim. So if you look at the last month or two as a whole, the Hawks have played terrible defense. But if you take a look at what their lineup looks like without Trae Young out there, that should not be that bad of a defensive team. And 2 games before Toronto, Kristaps Porzingis was back. We saw the Hawks playing some defense. They went into New York and beat the Knicks comfortably. Before that, they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves comfortably. They were up like 22 at half. I was on the Hawks in both those games. So Porzingis is playing in this one, and the Hawks actually look really impressive the last 2 times he played, and specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Now, when we're talking about defense, we need to give the Raptors some credit. They've played some great defense themselves. They're actually 5th in defensive efficiency in the last 10 games. The offense has been terrible, but R.J. Barrett just came back for the Raptors, and he actually had 29 points against the Hawks 2 nights ago. So maybe the Raptors' offense isn't quite as bad now that R.J. Barrett's back on the floor. And look, the Raptors' defense has definitely earned our respect. They've actually been a top 10 defensive team for most of the year. Here's the thing. I mentioned how they're a top 10 defensive team in the last 10 games. Want to know who they've played? The Raptors? Look at these elite offenses that the Raptors have played. They've played Denver with no Jokic. Orlando they've had problems scoring points this whole year. Golden State, that's a respectable one. The Wizards, the Heat, the Nets, the Celtics, that's a good one, but the Celtics beat the hell out of the Raptors. The Bucks with no Giannis, and the Heat again. So, yeah, they're playing great defense. We also have to point out that they've played a lot of games against bad offenses. I think the Hawks are the better team now that they're rested, now that they flew up to Toronto on a back-to-back. They took their loss. Now they got settled up there in Toronto. They're rested. There's no advantage for the Raptors here. Porzingis is going to play in this one. I think this line should be close to a pick. I think this is a 50-50 game. I think the Hawks should be laying about 2 on a neutral. So in this one, now that Porzingis is playing, it should be about a pick. So yeah, I'm on Hawks plus 4.5, and I also bet the Hawks money line in this one. Hawks, there we go. Someone talk about Glorilla in the comments. What is Glorilla going to be at the game or something? The rapper? Suns, Rockets. People in the Discord were talking about this one. I think Selman was thinking about taking the Suns. All right. So the Suns actually just got finished with, I'm sure you probably already saw it, Devin Booker hit a 3 to beat, the Suns just beat Oklahoma City at home. That game ended probably about an hour ago. So the Suns just got finished with a huge win over the Thunder. They immediately fly out to Houston. Now the flight from Phoenix to Houston, isn't anything crazy, but the Suns did just finish a game that came down to the last second, came down to the wire. Devin Booker hit a game-winning shot with like 3 seconds left, or no, I think it was 0.7 seconds left when he hit it. So obviously, in terms of the situation, very favorable spot for Houston. You got the Suns coming off that Oklahoma City game. Now, Suns have been excellent, man. Obviously, this graphic was made before the Oklahoma City game ended, so add another win to the left side of this graphic. But before that Oklahoma City win, they were 4-1 straight up, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10, 14-6 against the spread in their last 20. Betting on the Phoenix Suns has been extremely lucrative. Now, what is the criticism bid of this Suns team? They haven't played anybody, right? They played the back-to-back against the Pelicans. I forget who else they played, but they kept playing bad teams. So they had a weak strength of schedule. So it was kind of like, all right, let's pump the brakes on the whole Suns are great thing. They played a really easy schedule. Well, they just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if we're talking about an easy schedule, I mean, shit, look at the Rockets' strength of schedule. They're 28th in strength of schedule in the last 10 games. It's not like the Rockets have been going through the gauntlet here. Injuries are kind of the lead story here in this one. You switch it over to the next slide. So the Suns have actually been really active on the offensive glass. Couple concerns here because Şengün's not going to play for the Rockets. It looks like Steven Adams might not play either. So, oh shit, that's the two centers there for the Rockets. Now, the Rockets are usually a great rebounding team, but if they're missing Şengün and Steven Adams here, maybe the Suns can go into Houston and get active on the offensive glass. Here's the thing. The Rockets are pretty deep when it comes to the front court. Remember, they got Clint Capella. They also got Jabari Smith, who's a great rebounder. So with the Suns coming off a back-to-back, we've seen the Suns rest Mark Williams on back-to-backs. So I honestly think that the Rockets can still control the glass in this one, even without Şengün and Steven Adams, because they're rested, because they're deep at the position with Capella and Jabari Smith, and because the Suns very often rest Mark Williams on a back-to-back. So despite missing those pieces, I still think the Rockets are able to keep the Suns off the offensive glass, which has kind of been their best weapon. As far as betting the game, I was considering an under. I'll go back here because of the pace. Houston, one of the slowest paces in the NBA. Then Phoenix coming off a back-to-back. I could see it being a slow-paced basketball game. There's a 224.5. Yeah, 224.5. The reason that I didn't pull the trigger on that under is I hate betting unders when there's a back-to-back. I just feel like, and this is not really backed by any data, just speaking on perception here, I feel like we see some terrible defense in some of these games when there's a back-to-back. And as I'm saying this, I just see a 223.5 pop. So it looks like we're starting to see under money come in. No, never mind. Mostly 224 still. I'll put under up. I can't lay 8.5 to the Suns. It looks like they're actually down to a flat 8, 7.5. So it looks like that number might be coming down. I'll put under up, but I couldn't get there with anything in this one. Where the hell is my... Sorry, one sec. Oh, there it is at the very end. I don't even have an under graphic. All right, so I'll say under or pass. Charlotte, Oklahoma City. Man, I don't understand. In the Discord, Selman was big on the Oklahoma City. Sports scientist Jacob was talking about Oklahoma City. Seems like a pretty big number to lay to a Hornets team that's playing some good basketball right now. All right. Oklahoma City just got finished with a game in Phoenix. So now they got to fly home, no rest, back-to-back. The last 3 times we've seen Oklahoma City on a back-to-back, in the second leg, they're 0-3 against the spread with a defensive rating over 121. So we've seen the Thunder get lit up defensively the last 3 times they played a back-to-back in the second leg. So they just finished a game, a heartbreaker against the Suns. They immediately fly home to play the Hornets. The last 3 times we've seen them do something like this, they played terrible defense. They're playing a Hornets team that loves to launch the 3. The Hornets, top 5 in three-point frequency, and they're good at it. They're actually the most efficient three-point shooting team in the NBA in the last 10 games. This team's full of snipers. Oklahoma City, what's been their weakest defensive spot? Defending the three-point shot. They're actually a bottom 10 three-point defense. Coming off a back-to-back at home, if the Hornets shots are falling, I think they can make this a game. I don't know how this is 16.5. Honestly, this Hornets team is playing pretty well. They're 5th in offensive efficiency in the last 10 games. They're 8-2 against the spread in the last 10. Betting Charlotte has been extremely lucrative. I couldn't do it because everyone whose opinion I respect is taking Oklahoma City here, but it would only be the Hornets for me. There's no way. 16.5 to the Hornets. The Hornets are cover machines. The Hornets have always come through for me. So yeah, give me those sharp shooting Hornets in this one. Denver, Philadelphia. Didn't spend a ton of time on this one. Obviously, the story with the Nuggets, no Jokic, and also no Valanciunas either. So the Nuggets are kind of operating without a center right now, which kind of throws everything on its axis because the Nuggets center, in case you have never watched the Nuggets play basketball, it's kind of their identity is the offense runs through Jokic. And that's why I kind of thought Valanciunas was a cool fit for the second unit because it's kind of like they can keep their identity with the second unit. Obviously, Valanciunas isn't Jokic, but so there's no Jokic and no Valanciunas. Now, Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon have returned from injury, which is huge for the Nuggets, but they just played tonight on the road in Brooklyn, so I'm not sure they just returned from an injury. I don't think they're going to play on a back-to-back. I'm speculating. I don't have any opinion on this one, so I'll leave the poll up for a few more seconds, but I don't know. I would imagine the Sixers can beat them up pretty good. If you're asking me, I'd probably go Philly, but that's a big number. So I have no interest. Utah, Portland. Both these teams playing slightly better than you think right now. All right. Utah, Portland. So, oh, by the way, this is Oklahoma City too. Check this out for Oklahoma City. Oh, I want to go back to this because this is kind of a good point. So for Oklahoma City, I'll put my Hornets pick back up. So look at this scheduling spot. You got Portland, then you got at Golden State, at Phoenix. Huge games for the Thunder. Then you fly back home on a back-to-back to play Charlotte, one of the least important games on the schedule for Oklahoma City. And then you immediately have 2 Western Conference games after this. This is the least important game of the month for Oklahoma City on a back-to-back, coming off 2 huge games against Golden State and Phoenix. I forgot to go through that. That's another thing is I hate the scheduling spot for Oklahoma City. All right. So, like I said, both these teams are playing better than you think. So, there's a game for Utah littered in with their last 5 where they didn't play anybody. They didn't play Markkanen. They didn't play Nurkic. Well, Nurkic has been out the last couple. If you just isolate it to their last 4 games with Markkanen on the floor, they're 2-2 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. And the only one they didn't cover was that Boston game where I picked Boston -7.5. That game was competitive all the way up to about midway through the fourth quarter. Boston pulled away and covered at the very end, but they were competitive with the Celtics. So the last 4 times we've seen the Celtics put their guys on the floor, they look pretty strong. Now, Portland's playing well too. In fact, betting on both of these teams has been a good decision. In the last 10, the Jazz are 6-4 against the spread. The Blazers are actually just 5-5 against the spread in their last 10, but they're 4-1 in their last 5, 4-1 straight up. Utah can't play defense. Portland can't score. So what's going to give there? Utah can't generate stops, but Portland cannot score. Both these teams have played tough schedules. The last 10 games, Utah's 4th in strength of schedule. Portland's actually 18th, but they've played some tough teams in the last 5. If Nurkic is out there, I would do this one if I knew Nurkic was going to play. He's listed as questionable. If Nurkic was out there to keep Portland off the offensive glass, then I would probably make this number about 4.5 instead of 6.5, and I would go Utah without knowing the status of Nurkic. Kind of throws it up in the air, but Utah has not been a pushover with their guys on the floor. Keontae George is scoring the ball. Marketing obviously is always tough to defend for anybody. So yeah, it would only be Utah for me here. I think when their guys are on the floor, they're not, this is obviously catching 6 points from Portland. This is obviously getting priced as the worst team in the NBA. And when they have their guys on the floor, I don't think they're the floor of the league. They compete. We've seen them compete with some good teams. So, and that's another thing, is the teams. Look at this. Remember this graphic? So this is their last 4 games with Markkanen. Want to know who they played in these games? They're 2-2 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. They played Boston, Golden State, San Antonio, Detroit. Played 4 playoff teams. 3-1 against the spread, competitive in every single game. So yeah, it would only be Utah for me here. Last game on the board is Golden State Clippers. I kind of think this price is a little disrespectful to the Clips. Clips have played well. I'm kind of this is one I'd be down. I'm considering the Hornets. The one I bet is the Hawks, but I'm considering the Hornets, considering the Jazz, and I'm considering the Clippers. Okay. Warriors Clippers. Kind of want to see what everyone thinks here. So, true or false? In the last 10 games, the Clippers have been the better team. That's true, right? Everyone agrees with that? The Clippers have been better than the Warriors in like the last month. I think it's a fair statement to make. They've played a stronger schedule. They've been better offensively. These two teams have been about the same defensively. In fact, if we're just talking about the last 5 games, the Clippers have been much better defensively. The Clippers have been the better team recently. Now, Golden State, they've had guys in and out of the lineup, and it's not black and white with Golden State. Well, there was one game where Draymond got ejected, and then they rested everybody. And they didn't. The Oklahoma City game, they had a bunch of guys out, but for the most part, they've had their guys out there. And Golden State's defense hasn't looked good in the last 5 games. You can see on this graphic, 23rd in defensive efficiency in the last 5. In the last 10 games, they're 3-7 against the spread, so they've been consistently underperforming. This game, Clippers -1 at home. That means the market's got Golden State by a point and a half on a neutral. Right now, the Clippers are playing better basketball. So I think it should be Clippers -2.5, maybe even Clippers -3, based on the way these two teams are playing. What's his name? Zubats is back, by the way. But I was a little concerned. Let me pull it up. Oh, never mind. This graphic's not working. Sorry about that. The last couple times Zubats played, we actually saw the defense kind of fall off, I think is what I was looking at. Yeah, for some reason the Clippers defense has kind of been not as good in the games that Zubats played, but it's a small sample, so it's really nothing to take away there. But yeah, the Clippers have been launching threes. They've been hitting threes. Golden State's struggling on the perimeter defensively. I think it's Clippers here. Why are all my graphics out of order? My NBA graphics are out of order on every single one. Yeah, Clippers -1. I think this would be my second favorite. No, I really want to bet Charlotte. I think you guys in the Discord are bugging. Jacob and I'm looking at you, Jacob and Selman. I think you guys are crazy for considering laying Oklahoma City. And people in the comments are saying Oklahoma City too. On a back-to-back, that's crazy. I want to bet the Hornets. I want to bet the Clippers. Those are the two I want to add. Yep. Clippers are frauds. Everyone, thanks for watching as always. Yeah, see you all tomorrow. We're in the basketball season now, so moving forward, we should be live every single night. There was kind of a transition there where my spreadsheets weren't functioning properly, but moving forward, we should be live every night now. And this probably will be the format: is college basketball first, and then I'll do NBA by myself after. It's kind of the format moving forward. Got to figure out. It's tough to get guests for NBA because it's like, hey man, you still up at 1:10 a.m.? It's tough to hit somebody up for that. So yeah, I'll figure it out. Everyone, thanks for watching. See you all tomorrow.